Success doesn't come from what's easy, it comes from what's hard. And the truth is, your brain will never volunteer to do the hard things. You have to force it. I remember waking up one winter morning when everything in me screamed, "Stay in bed." It was dark, cold, and my body ached from the previous day. My brain was trying to protect me, whispering, "You've done enough, take it easy." But something inside me said, "No, get up, push, move." And when I forced myself to step out into that freezing air, to run when I didn't want to, I discovered a power inside me that I would have never known if I had listened to the comfort of my mind. That day, I realized, the brain is designed to keep us safe, but if we let it control us, it will keep us small. Growth only comes when you force your brain to do what it doesn't want to do. Number 1. Your brain seeks comfort, not growth. Your brain, as miraculous and powerful as it is, was not designed to make you great, it was designed to keep you safe. From the time of our ancestors, the brain's primary mission has always been survival. Avoid threats, seek comfort, conserve energy, and live to see another day. That wiring hasn't changed, even though the world around us has. Back then, survival meant running from predators, finding food, and keeping warm. Today, survival means staying in the job you hate because it feels secure, avoiding that difficult conversation because it feels uncomfortable, skipping the workout because it feels painful, and delaying your dreams because they feel uncertain. The brain does not ask, "Will this make you stronger?" It only asks, "Will this keep you safe right now?" That is why growth and success are not natural, they must be forced. Left unchecked, your brain will keep you trapped in a loop of comfort, convincing you that you've earned the right to take it easy, to stay small, to avoid the unknown. And here's the truth. Nothing great has ever come from easy. Comfort never created legends, never built empires, never transformed lives. Never transformed lives. Greatness is always born in discomfort, and the only way to escape the prison of comfort your brain builds around you is to force it to move toward the hard things it resists. I'll never forget the season in my life when this truth hit me the hardest. A few years ago, I was in a place where I felt stuck, my career wasn't moving, my health was slipping, and my motivation was gone. Every day I told myself I would start changing tomorrow, but every night I fell into the same cycle. Scrolling on my phone, avoiding responsibility, convincing myself that I deserved to rest. My brain became an expert in rationalizing comfort. It's okay, you worked hard enough today. Tomorrow you'll start fresh. But tomorrow never came. Then one day, I had an experience that shattered my excuses. A close friend of mine, someone younger than me, collapsed suddenly from a heart attack. He was only 32. Standing at his funeral, I realized something my brain had been protecting me from. Life doesn't wait for you to get comfortable enough to chase your calling. Comfort doesn't just rob you of progress, it robs you of time. That day, I made a decision. No more listening to the voice in my head that wanted safety over growth. I would start doing the things my brain resisted, not because I wanted to, but because I had to if I wanted to live fully. The first step I took was simple but brutal. I committed to waking up at 5 a.m. every day to run, no matter how I felt. That first morning, my brain screamed, "You're tired, it's too dark, it's too cold, you can do it later." But I forced myself out of bed, laced up my shoes, and stepped into the freezing air. Every part of me wanted to turn back, but I kept moving, step after step. And something happened. I didn't just run that morning. I rewired a piece of my identity. I proved to myself that I could do what I didn't want to do. Each day I repeated the process, my brain's protests grew weaker, and my belief grew stronger. The lesson was clear. Your brain will always choose the path of least resistance, but when you push through and choose the harder path, you expand your capacity and growth becomes inevitable. This isn't just about running or waking up early, it's about every area of life. Think about it. The reason most people never start the business they dream of is because their brain whispers, "It's too risky." The reason people stay in toxic relationships is because the brain whispers, "At least it's familiar." The reason people never get healthy is because the brain whispers, it's too painful. But safety is a lie when it comes at the cost of your potential. If you let your brain dictate your choices, you'll live your entire life on the sidelines, watching others do the hard things that you were also capable of doing. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it destroys you in the long run. Discomfort feels painful in the moment, but it shapes you into someone unrecognizable in the long run, stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. The truth is, forcing your brain to do hard things is not about punishing yourself, it's about freeing yourself. It's about breaking the chains of a survival mindset and stepping into a growth mindset. Each time you override the comfort-seeking voice in your head, you reclaim power. You become the master, not the servant. You realize that growth doesn't happen by accident, it happens by force. It happens when you decide that you are no longer willing to settle for the easy life, and instead, you're willing to chase the meaningful life, and meaning is always found in the hard things. So the next time your brain tells you, stay in bed, take it easy, don't take the risk, I want you to remember this. Your brain is not protecting you, it is limiting you. Your brain seeks comfort, but your soul seeks growth, and the only way to honor the calling inside you is to force your brain to obey you, not betray you. Because once you learn how to master the hard things, the impossible becomes possible, and comfort no longer has power over you. Number 2, discomfort is the door to transformation. Discomfort is the very place where transformation is born, yet it is also the very place most people spend their lives running from. The brain hates discomfort because it feels like danger. It sends signals of pain, fear, and resistance to convince you to step back into what feels safe. But here's the paradox. Everything you desire, every breakthrough you dream of, every version of yourself that you haven't met yet, is locked behind the door of discomfort. The workout that feels painful today is the path to a stronger body tomorrow. The awkward silence in that hard conversation is the doorway to authentic relationships. The sleepless nights of building something new are the seeds of future success. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your guide, your teacher, your training ground. Growth never happens in the zone of comfort. It happens when you step into the furnace of discomfort and allow it to shape you. The very thing you avoid, because it feels hard, is the very thing that would change your life if you embraced it. I learned this lesson the hard way when I tried to start my first business. At the beginning, I loved the idea of being my own boss, setting my schedule, and creating something meaningful. But when reality hit, the rejection calls, the failed meetings, the endless hours of planning with no reward, discomfort screamed at me to quit. Every part of me wanted to return to a safe paycheck, a steady job, something predictable. My brain was offering me the escape hatch of comfort, and I almost took it. But one night, as I sat alone staring at my empty bank account, I remembered the words of a mentor. Discomfort is the price you pay for becoming someone new. In that moment, I realized that the pain I was feeling wasn't a sign I was failing, it was proof I was growing. So I stayed, I pushed, I kept making the calls, kept showing up to the meetings that intimidated me, kept enduring the silence when nobody wanted what I was offering. Slowly, painfully, things began to shift. My first client came, then another, and then another. What once felt unbearable became normal. What once made me sweat with fear became routine. And looking back, I see that it wasn't the success that changed me, it was the discomfort that transformed me into someone who could handle success. That's why I say with certainty, discomfort is a gift in disguise. Most people run from it, but those who lean into it discover a power inside themselves that they never knew existed. The gym is uncomfortable, but it builds strength. Public speaking is uncomfortable, but it builds influence. Waking up at dawn is uncomfortable, but it builds discipline. Saying no to temptations is uncomfortable, but it builds character. Every discomfort you endure is a brick laid in the foundation of your transformation. You cannot shortcut this process. You cannot pray your way out of discomfort or wish your way around it, because it is not a barrier, it is the bridge. What separates extraordinary people from ordinary ones is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's the relationship they have with discomfort. Ordinary people avoid it at all costs. Extraordinary people walk toward it willingly, knowing that beyond the sting lies the strength they seek. Think of a butterfly struggling to break free from its cocoon. The struggle is uncomfortable, painful, exhausting, but if someone tried to help by cutting the cocoon open, the butterfly would never develop the strength in its wings to fly. The struggle is not punishment, it is preparation. Your discomfort is not sent to destroy you, it is sent to prepare you for the flight you were born to take. So, when you feel the burn of discomfort in your body, the fear in your chest, or the anxiety in your mind, don't run, recognize it for what it truly is. The sound of transformation knocking at your door. Embrace it, because it is the furnace that forges greatness. And every time you walk through discomfort, instead of around it, you are not just moving closer to your goals, you are becoming a different person. Someone capable of carrying the weight of the destiny that's waiting for you. Discomfort will never feel good in the moment, but it will always feel worth it in the end. Transformation demands it, and if you are willing to pay the price, you will rise into a version of yourself that comfort could never give you. Number 3. Discipline trains the mind to obey, not debate. Discipline is not about motivation, because motivation comes and goes like the weather. Sometimes it's sunny and you feel unstoppable, other times it's cloudy and you can't move. If you rely on motivation, you will only act when it feels good, and that means you'll quit the moment it gets hard. Discipline, on the other hand, is the quiet force that trains your brain to obey without argument. It is the habit of taking action without negotiating with yourself, without entertaining excuses, without allowing the debate between comfort and growth to even begin. When you are disciplined, you remove the option of quitting, you eliminate the drama of indecision, and you turn action into instinct. That is why discipline is freedom, because it frees you from the constant mental battle of, should I do it? Can I do it? Do I feel like it? Discipline answers those questions before they even arise. It teaches your brain, when I say go, we go. No discussion, no delay, no escape. And when your brain finally understands that you are in charge, not your fleeting emotions, you become unstoppable. I experienced the power of discipline when I decided to break free from one of my deepest personal struggles, procrastination. For years, I had dreams sitting in notebooks and plans gathering dust on my shelves. I knew what I wanted to build, I even had the skills to do it, but every time the moment came to act, my brain would start negotiating with me. You can do it tomorrow. You're too tired right now. You're not ready yet. You need to learn more first. And like a fool, I listened. I kept postponing the work that could change my life, waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect day, the perfect timing that never came. Then one morning, I woke up and realized I had been in the same place for years, not because I wasn't capable, but because I wasn't disciplined. So I made a brutal but life-changing decision. From that day on, I would wake up at 4:30 a.m., no matter what, and write for 1 hour before I did anything else. No excuses, no negotiations. The first week was a war. My brain begged me to sleep. My body felt heavy. My thoughts screamed, what difference will 1 hour make? But I had decided there would be no debate. I forced myself up, rode through the fog, and hit my target every single day. Slowly, something incredible happened. My brain stopped fighting. After a few weeks, it understood the rule. When the alarm rings, we get up, we write, no questions asked. Discipline had trained my mind to obey. The same principle applies everywhere in life. Discipline is why soldiers can act with precision under fire. It's why athletes can perform under pressure. It's why leaders can carry responsibility when others collapse. They don't stop to ask themselves, do I feel like it? They have trained their brains to follow orders, and that training is what allows them to achieve extraordinary results. Most people lose because they keep debating with themselves. They waste energy deciding instead of doing. They let their feelings run their lives. But feelings are liars. Feelings tell you that you're too weak, too tired, too unprepared. Discipline tells you the truth, that you are capable of more than you think, but only if you take action regardless of how you feel. Think about the difference between someone who wants to get in shape and someone who is disciplined. The one who wants to get in shape will go to the gym when it's convenient, when they're excited, when the weather is nice. The disciplined one goes no matter what rain or shine, tired or energized, motivated or not. Over time, the disciplined one transforms their body and their life, while the other stays stuck wishing. The difference was never ability, it was obedience. Discipline trains the brain to obey commands instead of negotiating with excuses. So here's the truth you need to hold on to. If you want to build a life of power, stop waiting for motivation and start building discipline. Create rules for yourself and refuse to break them. Decide what time you wake up, how you will use your hours, what non-negotiable actions you will take every day, and then follow through no matter what. At first, your brain will resist, but if you are consistent, it will learn that you are in control. And once you master discipline, your brain becomes a servant of your purpose instead of a slave to your comfort. That is when life begins to change. Because discipline doesn't just get things done, it shapes who you are. It turns ordinary people into warriors, dreamers into doers, and victims into victors. And the day you train your brain to obey without debate is the day you unlock a freedom most people will never taste. The freedom to rise above your feelings and create the life you were meant to live. Number 4. Small daily hard things build mental muscle. When people think of doing hard things, their mind immediately jumps to the big, dramatic challenges, the marathon, the million-dollar business, the life-altering leap of faith. But the truth is, greatness is not built on one massive act of courage. It is built on countless small, daily acts of discipline that seem almost insignificant in the moment. Just like muscles in the body grow by repeatedly lifting weights that stretch and strain them, the mind grows by consistently choosing small difficulties over easy escapes. Each time you wake up, when you said you would instead of hitting snooze, you are lifting a weight. Each time you choose water instead of soda, you are lifting a weight. Each time you sit down to work on your craft instead of scrolling on your phone, you are lifting a weight. These acts don't make headlines, they don't impress anyone immediately, but they are the hidden training ground where mental strength is forged. Over time, these small choices accumulate into unshakable resilience because they condition your brain to lean into effort instead of escaping from it. The mind, like the body, adapts to what you feed it, and when you feed it small hard things every day, it becomes strong enough to carry the weight of the bigger things when they come. I experienced this firsthand during one of the most difficult seasons of my life when I was battling financial stress and emotional burnout. At that time, I couldn't see how to climb out of the hole I was in, and every challenge felt overwhelming. But a mentor gave me advice that changed everything. He said, "Stop looking at the mountain, just move one stone today, then another tomorrow." At first, I didn't understand, but he challenged me to start doing 3 small, hard things every single day, no matter how insignificant they seemed. So I started simple. I forced myself to wake up 1 hour earlier. I committed to reading 10 pages of a book every night. And I decided to walk for 20 minutes instead of collapsing on the couch after work. None of these things solved my problems overnight, but what they did was more important: they built momentum. Waking up early gave me extra time to think and plan instead of rushing through the day in panic. Reading 10 pages every night expanded my perspective and sharpened my mind. Walking gave me energy and cleared my head. Over weeks and months, those small, hard choices compounded into a new level of mental toughness. Suddenly, bigger challenges didn't feel impossible anymore because I had trained my brain through repetition to act instead of avoid. That is the secret that most people miss. The small, daily hard things are not about the results they give in the moment. They are about the identity they create over time. When you keep promises to yourself in the little things, your brain starts to believe you when you commit to the big things. When you prove that you can conquer the daily resistance of getting up early, saying no to temptation, or finishing a task you don't want to do, you start seeing yourself as someone who follows through no matter what. And that identity is far more powerful than any single achievement because it becomes who you are at the core. Think of an athlete before they ever lift a heavy weight. They spend years lifting lighter ones, conditioning their body to handle the strain. Your mind works the same way. You don't suddenly wake up with the strength to do the hardest thing of your life. You build it, one small, hard thing at a time. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who wait for a massive breakthrough. They are the ones who practice the daily discipline of choosing discomfort over convenience. They do the boring work, the unglamorous routines, the little sacrifices that nobody applauds. But one day, when the big moment comes, the marathon, the business pitch, the crisis, they are ready, because they have trained for it in secret through thousands of small victories. Mental muscle doesn't grow in an instant. It grows in the hidden choices you make when nobody is watching. And when you are faithful in the small, hard things, life will trust you with the big things. So stop waiting for the perfect moment to do something extraordinary. Start today, right where you are, with something small and difficult. Wake up on time. Skip the unhealthy snack. Finish the task you've been avoiding. Have the uncomfortable conversation. These are your reps in the gym of life, and every rep makes you stronger. One day you'll look back and realize that the big breakthrough you thought would change your life wasn't one single event. It was the daily grind of choosing hard things over easy ones, until your brain was no longer your enemy, but your brain-dead cold, greatest weapon. And that is how you build unshakable mental muscle, one small, hard choice at a time. Number 5. Your identity shifts every time you conquer resistance. Every time you face resistance and push through it, you are not just completing a task, you are rewriting the story of who you believe you are. Identity is not fixed. It is shaped by the choices you make, moment by moment, battle by battle. When you give in to resistance, you reinforce the identity of someone who quits when it's hard, someone who avoids discomfort, someone who runs from responsibility. But when you conquer resistance, even in the smallest of ways, you cast a vote for a new identity, someone who doesn't back down, someone who chooses courage, someone who keeps going when it hurts. And over time, these votes accumulate until your self-image shifts permanently. You stop seeing yourself as a weak, passive passenger in life and start seeing yourself as a powerful, capable driver of your destiny. That is why every hard thing matters, not because of the outcome, but because of the person you become when you do it. Each battle you win against resistance adds weight to your new identity, and identity is the most powerful force in human behavior. You will always act in alignment with who you believe you are. And if you want to live an extraordinary life, you must keep conquering resistance until you truly believe. I am the kind of person who does hard things. I remember when this truth became real for me. There was a season where I wanted to get healthier, not just for how I looked, but because I was tired of feeling weak, tired, and out of control. I joined a local gym, but I'll be honest, the first few weeks were humiliating. I couldn't lift half of what others were lifting. I was out of breath after just a few minutes, and my brain screamed at me every morning to stay in bed instead of showing up. Resistance was loud, and I had every excuse ready. But I made a decision. Every time resistance told me to stop, I would push one rep further, run one more minute, add one more pound. At first, these extra pushes didn't change my body much, but they changed something deeper. They changed the way I saw myself. I was no longer the person who gave up when it hurt. I was the person who finished what I started. That shift in identity was powerful, because once I believed that about myself in the gym, it carried into every other area of my life. At work, I stopped procrastinating. In relationships, I stopped avoiding difficult conversations. When fear rose up, I heard a louder voice inside me saying, "You don't quit anymore, you finish." And over time, that identity became my anchor. This is why conquering resistance matters so much. It's not about the weights, the miles, the projects, or the goals themselves. It's about building a self-image that cannot be shaken. Most people lose the battle of life, not because they lack potential, but because they keep reinforcing the wrong identity. They tell themselves, "I'm just not disciplined, I'm just not confident, I'm just not strong enough." But those are not truths. They are habits of belief created by giving in to resistance too many times. The good news is, identity can be rewritten at any moment you decide to act differently. The first time you resist the urge to quit, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. The second time, that proof grows. The third, fourth, and fifth time, it becomes undeniable. Eventually, your brain no longer debates whether you can do hard things, it simply accepts that you are the kind of person who does. Think of it this way, every action is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your identity. Each time you give up, you paint a stroke that says, I am weak. Each time you endure, you paint a stroke that says, I am strong. Over time, the painting becomes clear, and the world, and more importantly, you see who you truly are. So the question is, what painting are you creating? Are you building the image of a quitter or the image of a conqueror? The choice is always yours, and it is made not in grand, dramatic moments, but in the quiet, daily battles against resistance. So the next time you feel that wall of resistance rise, the temptation to skip, to stop, to settle, remember this. It's not just about this moment. It's about your identity. Who do you want to be? Because every time you conquer resistance, you step closer to becoming that person, and once your identity shifts, your destiny follows. Number 6. Fear and resistance are signs you're on the right path. Fear and resistance are not proof that you are weak, they are proof that you are standing at the edge of growth. Too many people interpret fear as a stop sign, when in reality, it is often the compass pointing directly toward the place you need to go. Your brain uses fear to protect you, to keep you from the unknown, to pull you back toward comfort. But the irony is that the very thing you fear is usually the thing that will change you. The resistance you feel when you think about starting the business, speaking in public, having that honest conversation, or chasing that dream is not there because you're unworthy. It's there because those actions carry the power to transform you. If it didn't matter, there would be no resistance. If it had no impact, there would be no fear. That is why you must learn to reframe fear, not as a warning to turn back, but as a signal that you are moving in the right direction. Fear means you're alive, resistance means you're growing, and together they mean you're about to step into a new level of yourself. I'll never forget the first time I spoke in front of a large crowd. It wasn't a polished stage with lights and cameras, it was a community hall with folding chairs and a microphone that crackled every time I touched it. I had been asked to share a message, and though I had dreamed about moments like this, when the day arrived, I was terrified. My heart pounded so loud I thought everyone could hear it, my palms were sweaty, and a voice in my head screamed, "You're not ready, you'll embarrass yourself, just walk away." That resistance was overwhelming, and I almost let it stop me. But then, a thought hit me. If I feel this much fear, it must mean this moment matters. If I walked away, I would stay the same. But if I pushed through, I would never be the same again. So I took the microphone, stumbled through my opening words, and by the end of that talk, something in me had shifted. I realized that fear had been lying to me all along, not to protect me, but to test me. It wasn't there to tell me I couldn't do it, it was there to challenge me to rise above it. And in that moment, I learned the truth. The presence of fear is not a sign to quit, but a sign that you are exactly where you need to be. This principle holds true in every area of life. The job you hesitate to apply for because you're afraid of rejection, that's probably the very role that would stretch you into your next level. The business you keep delaying because you fear failure, that's likely the path to discovering your potential. The conversation you keep avoiding because it feels uncomfortable, that's the one that will heal or elevate your relationships. Fear and resistance never show up in places of insignificance. They only appear when something meaningful is at stake. That's why you must learn to see them as allies, not enemies. They are like the guard dogs that stand in front of the treasure chest. The barking is loud and intimidating, but if you are willing to walk past them, you'll discover the gold waiting on the other side. Too many people waste their lives running away from resistance, never realizing that they are running away from their destiny. They stay where it's safe, where it's familiar, where it's comfortable, but comfort kills dreams. Fear will never disappear, but your relationship with it can change. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of fear?" start asking, "What is this fear pointing me toward?" Instead of avoiding resistance, lean into it with curiosity. Every time you push through, fear loses a little of its power, and you gain a little more of yours. So the next time your heart races, your hands tremble, or your thoughts try to talk you out of something you know is right, stop and remind yourself, this is not a reason to quit. This is proof that I'm on the right path. Fear is the border between who you are and who you are becoming. Resistance is the doorway to transformation. And if you can learn to walk through that doorway again and again, you will discover a version of yourself that fear was trying to hide from you all along, the fearless, powerful, unstoppable you.